Hello and welcome back to ET English Tutorials. This is part 2 for the poem The Village Schoolmaster, chapter 8 from Treasure Chest. This video will be useful for ICSE students class 9th and 10th, class 9th particularly, and part 1 is already out where I introduced the poem to you. I give you everything, the information about the form, structure, rhyme scheme, and everything. And this is part 2 where we are going through thorough explanation, word to word, line to line explanation of this poem. And I already told you that this poem has been extracted from his collection of through a long poem, that is The Deserted Village. I missed 2 points in the introduction video of this poem. If you want, you can make a note of that. This poem is written in 1770 and it reflects the poet's observations and experiences while growing up in a small deserted village in Ireland. As I already told you when I was explaining you about the author, I told you that he was an Anglo-Irish poet. So from there you can guess that this is all setting this is all set in a small deserted village in Ireland. It gives the sketch of village schoolmaster, the education system of that time, and explores the complexities of schoolmaster's personality. And I already told you that this poem is written for his teacher, Thomas Paddy Bryan, Thomas Paddy Byrne, and he was his teacher when he was having 6 years of age. All this thing I've already told you, and now we will move on to the poem. These were some points that I left out, that I missed to tell you in part 1. This was the introduction, so I covered it here only. And so this let's start with a fresh beginning. Let's start with the explanation of the poem. This is part 2. Part 3 will be released soon, which will have the figure of speeches, and I'll try to attach it here in the comment section of this video only. Beside yon straggling fence that skirts the way, with blossomed firs unprofitably gay. Beside, so through this two lines, we are told about the location of this school, where it was, how surroundings it was having. Correct. So beside yon is an archaic word. If you don't know what is an archaic word, it's an old word that is now outdated, and there are new terms which is being practiced nowadays, and that word has now been, it has stopped used it has stopped being used by the people, and the new terms instead of those old words are being used, and those old words are known as archaic words. So yawn is an archaic word that is used for the word that. So beside that straggling fence, straggling is, you know worn out, arranged in an uneven way, tuta futa. Fence, I hope you all know that, the boundary elements sort of thing. That skirts is surrounds the way with blossomed firs. Blossomed, that is bloomed. Firs are small yellow color flowers. Yes, these are the firs flowers. Unprofitably is not useful, but still they are gay. Gay is bright, beautiful. So, beside that straggling fence that is surrounding the way with blossomed firs, again, I told you yellow flowers that have been blossomed, but that is not of any use because no one is here to, to appreciate the beauty of that flowers. There in his noisy mansion, skilled to rule, the village schoolmaster taught his little school. And there was a noisy mansion. Noisy mansion. Mansion is a sort of big house, haveli, as we call in Hindi. So there in his noisy mansion, mansion is noisy. Why? Because there are people and people talk. Therefore, the mansion, there are noises coming from that mansion. And that mansion is the little school where there was a schoolmaster skilled to rule. Skilled to rule is he was, you know, good in that field of ruling. Ruling is sort of working for their for that school, working for the children of that school. So he was skilled to rule. A man, severe he was. Severe is serious, and stern to view. Stern is strict to view. So as by appearance, he was very strict and serious. I knew him well. First of all, I, that is the poet. So we got to know that this entire poem is written in the first person narration. Correct? So I knew him well and every truant knew. What is truant? Truant is any absent student or children who bunk the classes. Basically, these are the mischievous students. So every truant knew that he was a strict teacher, a strict person. Well, had the bodying tremblers learned to trace the day's disasters in his morning face? So, we as students, we get to know that yes, okay, fine. Today, the teacher is not in a good mood. So, we will not do much mischievous activities. So, here also, the boarding tremblers, boarding is anxious. Tremblers, the people who tremble because the teacher was strict, so the people, so basically the students, they used to tremble in fear, therefore tremblers. So the boarding tremblers, the anxious tremblers, they have now learned to trace, we all know, predict, correct? So the boarding tremblers, the anxious tremblers, anxious students, they learned to trace, they learned to you know uh, depict, learn to no, basically, that the day's disaster in his morning phase. So when he came, his morning phase, through his morning phase, these truant, these boarding tremblers, they know that okay, fine. Today is a disaster. We are going to get scolding today very much. So that is the day's disaster in his morning phase can be traced by these boarding tremblers, by these students. Full well they laughed with counterfeited glee. Glee is happiness, laughter. Counterfeited is fake. So full well they laughed with counterfeited glee at all his jokes, for many a joke had he. So the jokes of the teachers are not so much funny according to the poet. So here he goes on saying that though the jokes are not at all funny, the people are not like happy, or they are not like happily laughing or so, but still they are laughing with fake happiness, with fake laughter, so that the schoolmaster's mood is fine and smooth going. So again they are laughing, though they are not having they are not any so much happy with the jokes he's cracking, but still, just to impress him, just to keep him calm, they are laughing. Full well the busy whisper circling around conveyed the dismal tidings when he frowned. Frowned when he was angry. Okay, that is frowned. Dismal tidings. Dismal is bad. Tidings are news. So when the busy whisper, that is when the people they talked in a very soft sound, that is called whisper. So when the busy whisper circling around, the people are talking, the students are talking in themselves only, that okay, fine, today is not in a good mood, and you know they get to know that fine, today he is angry, and he might scold us every time and every moment. Yet he was kind, or if severe in his ought, severe is serious, ought is approach. So, yet he was kind. But, or if there must be a little seriousness in his approach, but still, the love he bore to teaching was in fault. So, do you really think that the love he bore to teaching, the love he, have in teaching, was in fault? No. What is fault? Fault is someone's weakness. So, though he was very kind, though he was, sort of severe, serious in his approach, but he loved learning. Teaching was his passion. He loved teaching. So that is being told here. One more thing, if you come to this line, there in his noisy mansion, skilled to rule, the village schoolmaster taught his little school. Here we have irony. I think I have missed this point while I was making this PPT. So this irony point might not be taken forward to the part 3, but because I'm telling you here, you should have a note of that. That by the way, how there here is irony, because first of all, mansion is a public property, right? School is a public property and mansion is a private property. So two opposite words have been used. And school is being compared to a mansion, therefore we have irony. Also we have transferred epithet, that will be talking in the part 3, where I'll be discussing the poetic devices and everything. We now come to the second stanza. The village all declared how much he knew, 'twas certain he could write in cipher too. So 'twas is it was. 'Twas is again an archaic word for the words. It was. So it was certain, it was very obvious that he could write and cipher too. Write is mind calculations and everything. Cipher is decode. It's again a very tough language. Not language, but a sort of calculation only. So the villagers, they all declared that he is a very wise person. The schoolmaster. He's a very wise person. He can, write and he can cipher also. So first thing that he could do is he can write in cipher too. Second thing that he could do is he could measure. So he could measure lands very accurately. Terms and tides presage. He could measure the lands. Terms of the lands is anything, area, perimeter, length, breadth, anything. And tides presage. Tides presages, he could predict the tides in sea. And even the story ran that he gauge. Gauge is measure accurately. So you can measure anything. He was so accurate. And people also said that he can make an estimate of anything, of something, even without measuring. This is the meaning of this line, that even the story ran through, that he could gauge. So he can make an estimate of anything even without measuring it accurately. Correct. For even though vanished, he could argue still. While the words of learned, I'm sorry, I missed a line. In arguing to the person is priest in church, owned his skill. So even in arguing, he was a master. Even he could argue to the person. Person are the priests in church, and they are considered to be a person of high respect and the most wise person of the village. So he can even argue with them. So much wise he was. And if he is arguing with the person, we all know that his logics, the things that he put forward might be very useful, might be very thoughtful. Therefore, he is arguing with the person. For even though vanquished, he could argue still. So even after he's defeated, even after being conquered, vanquished is to conquer. He still he still had that courage not to lose. He's again arguing, even if he's defeated, he's again arguing. So that sort of confidence he was having. While the words of learned length and thundering sound. This line means that he used the new words that might be bombastic and very new terms for the villages. Such a great vocabulary he was having. Amazed, the words of learned length and thundering sound amazed the gazing rustics ranged around. Ranged is wandering, rustics is villagers. So even the person who were walking, they got amazed by the words he used, by the language he used. And still they gazed, and still the wonder grew that one small head could carry all he knew. So that small head should have so much of information. The people, they were amazed to see that. They gazed at him, and still the wonder grew. But past is all his fame. So all this fame, this everything is now past. As I already told you that the speaker is now a grown up. He is writing this poem to a teacher, and this teacher, Thomas Paddy Byrne, was the poet's teacher when the poet was at the age of 6. So this is all past. So, but past is all his fame. So whatever being talked of, whatever good things, whatever personality description is being talked of, is now the past, and past cannot be repeated. So this is all his past. The very spot, this village and this school and that this very spot where many a time he triumphed is forgot. Triumph is victory. So this spot where he used to win again and again is now forgot. No one cares to know about this place. So it is all forgotten now. So this is the poem, The Village Schoolmaster, written by Oliver Goldsmith for his teacher Thomas Paddy Byrne, and he dedicated this poem to him, the teacher. So this is up for part 2 of this poem. Part 3 will have the poetic devices, and also if you are having confusion in any of the word, any of the line, you can comment me in the comment section. I'll try to attach the link of part 1 and part 3 even to the comment section of this video, so that uh, you can go through those videos also. So thank you very much. This is all for today. Doubts you can keep in the comment section. I'll answer them. So thank you for joining us. Thank you.